society, present time, are going through an identity change, an overreaction from Aunt Jemima, where there was the complete submissive black woman, especially to the white man, where her sex was a barter item and so on.
You're talking about back in
Society where women find themselves freer, they're beginning to react and overreact away from Aunt Jemima. And beside my white wife, I have to say one thing. I married her because of who she is, not what color she is.
possibly uptight today because she blames the black man from, maybe 100 years ago for not coming to her rescue?
Yes, the blame still goes on. I think.
That's wonderful.
That's the way I think of the Viet Cong. As a
You mean in their dedication?
in the dedication and their.
You mean this lovely outside picture underneath all that is a lot of toughness?
A lot of toughness, yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. And actually, that quality, strong. I wanted to.
Do black men marry white women because of the nature of some black women? What I mean by that is, how far back does it go?
Well,
Julian, how would you define the word uptight as far as
the problem of the black male in America and the black female, and you have a war that's been going on probably since slavery between the two.
there is of
From slavery on, yes, and still in the South, this condition exists. So that and look at her than look at any other woman for the rest of my life. Funny thing, when you talk about freedom, you're usually challenging the man. You're challenging him to want to achieve anything he wants, to capture anything he wants, right? And around the time he's 14, you begin to say, well, there's certain kind of women you shouldn't have, and so on and so forth. Well, that's one aspect of the problem. I think that thing that happens at 14 should not happen, first of all. The man should pursue the kind of woman that either is in his dreams or is in his reality or whatever. Now you get to.
How do you mean a war?
Well, I'm sorry, cut it.
All right, let's cut it. Jim, where does the black man stand today in relation to the black woman, to the white woman, and why? In other words, do black men marry white women because of the nature of some black women today?
Well, me sitting here, she's actually not Caucasian. She's a Mongoloid, and she comes from the Magyar strain, right?
Right.
But she passes as white. Now, I don't particularly care. I would, of course, be very interested if people wanted to have intermarriages and were denied that right, though. Now, so what your question was, what is the...
We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again. You're still going off because you... Jim, do black men marry white women because of the nature of black women? I know in some of our earlier conversations you mentioned that the black women you've met have been uptight. What do you mean by that?
Well, I'll answer the one question, what do I mean by uptight? Going toward a more militant attitude about their own identity. And in many ways are way ahead of the black man. because I don't know why, but in many ways are replacing the black man. There's a whole, there's an almost an unfeminine aspect of the black militant woman.
Do you find that some black women you've known out of your personal experience blame the black man for what happened to them in slavery even today?
Of course. You know, if the black man, regardless of the causes, failed to protect her, left her in a position where she had to sell herself or bargain with her body and so on. Yes, you know, she had there's resentment about that, but it's very complex now. You see, I think in another generation you'll get a whole crop, a whole generation of young black women.
Jim, where does the black man stand today in relation to the black woman, the white woman? Why? You hear it said that some black... I better do that again, I'm sorry. Jim, do black men marry white women because of the nature of black women? You've said in some of our earlier conversations that black women seem to be uptight. Uptight about what?
Uptight about their position in society. There are many, because I'm generalizing now, many are overreacting against Aunt Jemima, the Aunt Jemima image, the submissive Mother Earth type, unselfish, all-giving, especially all-giving to the white man, sexually and in the kitchen and every other way. And she's also overreacting against the problem of having to be the breadwinner, the matriarch of the house. The myth of the black matriarch is really a myth, because she is not. It wasn't her choice. Many black women, I'm sure, once they found this job had a certain social and political dignity to it, relished it and wielded the rolling pin, you know, like any minority group mama would do. But no matter how much she might relish it, it wasn't her choice to begin with. She would always have preferred the black male to have run the house, to have saved her from white rapists, white slave owners, you know.
Is the black woman
but I recognize that this reaction can exist. You see. Ask me another question.
Why did you marry Julianne?
I married Julianne because she's Julianne.
Julianne.
Nothing to do with race at all, really.
No, not at all.
If I looked at it from a social standpoint, I could say that she outshone, as a person, most women I met of any race.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Julianne.
Yes.
Why did you marry Jim? But first, do you know what Jim means by the uptightness of black women?
Oh, yes.
You've been in the theater.
Well, I've felt it. I've sensed it with almost every black woman that we know, whether they accept me or not. You know, whether there's always a tolerance, but there's always hostility behind it. I can understand it intellectually. Thank God I didn't have to go through the process that made it occur. I happen to think it's a good thing that they're showing hostility. I think it's the only thing they can show at the moment. And I think out of the hostility, I think that's a healthy sign. I think out of that,